coffee time. Cowboy coffee time. Cowboy coffee time. It's cowboy coffee time. Cowboy coffee time. Good morning, everybody. I hope everybody's doing good. Hope you got your cowboy coffee boiling and your beans are bubbling. Hope your weather's good where you are. I have friends in Norway. They were chuckling at our big 6 and 7 inch snow here in Tennessee. I get a kick out of that. My friend, you can see him on my Facebook page, Ollie Arnold Nesseman. And Arnold, he lives in Norway in the mountains. And of course, 6 or 7 inches of snow is not really anything to them. He posts some pictures of the mountains around. Beautiful, beautiful place. So he was chuckling at me. I told him, I know you guys will laugh, but we had a big snow event here in Nashville, 6 or even 7 inches of snow. I don't know what they get. I would imagine it's more like 70 and over time, But I'm just having a little fun with that. He posts a lot of pictures. He feeds the wildlife, and so you get a look at the birds, what they look like. And Norway, the squirrels are a little different. They got a spritzy looking little ear on them with a brush, like I guess fuzzy looking, or not fuzzy, but little sprigs that stick off their ears. A little different looking, but it's a squirrel. Same thing. And he puts out feeders, and he puts out food for the deer and the antelope, and for his antelope. But he's a good man, good guy, and he posts a lot of beautiful pictures back in Norway. And I have fun with that. I just had to tease him about our huge snowstorm that shut everything down. And we enjoyed it. We get a little of that, and we enjoy it when we do. And it's a new year. Happy New Year to everybody. If you haven't joined us on one of our early shows this morning, this year, since the first. Good morning and Happy New Year. And, it's going to be a great year. We're going to get on through this whole pandemic or whatever you call it. And I believe it's going to come on down a little for us. Wild and woolly, Tex Woolly there. And you already had a Sheb Woolly. You could be Tex Woolly. And get in that. You need to be in that Yellowstone series and show up. There's a new one coming that's going to spin off of that about a Texas ranch too. So you could get it. Maybe y'all getting that. Be Tex Woolly. But hope you guys are okay, man. Saw you had some storms there nearby or something last week. I saw a mention of it. I don't know what happened. And I know we had a strange week last week. One day, I guess, we had 76 degrees and tornadoes. And thank God it didn't touch down, but the circulation was in the air and blah, blah, blah. And then it dropped, from 76 to, I guess, by the night after the snow, like 10 degrees, had 7 inches of snow. So all in 48 hours. And then Sunday, that went back up a little warmer and rained, and it was all gone. So, man, I'm sorry. We'll pray for your family, Claude Woolley, your family with the COVID thing. I hope it's as they say, it's weakening this thing. And so I will believe for you that your family has the Omicron, and it seems to be weakening, and we hope it does. Byron Hill, great to see you, man. Good morning. We have to get down here to the restaurant. I was down at the diner last couple of days here in Gladeville. This little touch of Mayberry we got here right around Mount Juliet. And good morning, everybody. Everybody's coming on and getting with us. Jason Martin over in North Carolina. My little brother Timmy loved you so much. And lost my baby brother, unfortunately, and made us all mad. I tell you, it just ain't fair. He was the baby. He was like 16 years younger than me. The cancer, 10 years ago or more. And Jason, he thought the absolute world of you. And good luck with your music, man. I see your music on and things that you're doing, and you got to dig, and can't let nobody stop you. And Sid Randell in England, man, you just got congratulations. Sid won an award as broadcaster. I'm sorry, Sid, I don't remember the exact title, but you deserved it. It was so great. What a great ending to your 2021, and we're all proud of you. And you're just a great man and a voice for country music. And if you guys want to see a great show or listen, you can go online to Tradzook Radio and catch the Ghost Rider radio show. And he plays, you'll hear the great British talent. And then there are shows where he also will play great music. And Mr. Paul Hunter, good morning. Welcome in. Sid Randell, Ghost Rider Radio. It's Tradzook Radio. You'll enjoy it. He has a playback. You can play the shows back if you can't listen while he's live. And just you're a great asset to country music, in our world, man. And we appreciate you. And once in a while he slips one of mine in, but don't let that stop you. But it's mostly British talent, and there's a lot of great talent in England. Shout out to my friends at Hillbillies. Of course, everybody knows that how much I love them. And we're just looking forward to Country DJ of the Year 2021. Yes. And that was a great thing, Sid. And you Sid Randell. Congratulations. Cheers, mate. Have a pint. So, Brian Smith's always talking about having a pint. And so, I'll have a pint of coffee. My drinking times is kind of, as Jimmy Buffett said one time, I had my share a long time ago, and I just ain't my thing anymore. But I'll get over there while doing some shows. We got to get over and do those shows with the Haley sisters, and we'll do those shows that we had set up last year that we didn't get to go because of all the things going on. And it'll be so fun to meet a lot of people. Oh my goodness, Bob Vincent, Dee Vincent. Jan Brookfield, just so many, Dot Cassidy, so many great people that I've met through talking to them on Sid's show and here on mine and on my page. And everybody forgive me, once in a while I lose it and I'll throw out one of my political opinions, but I try not to do that too much. I know people, but it's in my DNA. I'm a descendant of those people like Patrick Henry. So once in a while I'll do that, but it's never meant to offend any of you. And if you don't want to read it, don't read it. It's okay. And I still love you, and I hope you love me. But I'm an opinionated American, but I never mean to offend anybody. I love everybody. I love my Democrat friends, my Republican friends, and me, I ain't either one. I'm unaffiliated. I'm American. But I never did care to be either one of the parties. I voted both ways, Jimmy Carter, Reagan, But anyway, enough about all that. I just want to start the year off saying, if you see one of my posts where I say something I think politically, then please forgive me and don't get mad at me. I was born a rebel. Speaking of that, I got one of my hobbies has always been setting up battlefields, and I, at my age, I just got this week in from Amazon truck. I got a Civil War set. I got cannons, man. I got howitzers and cannons and horses and wagons, and I got both sides, and I've got a battlefield set up. I'll have to take a picture and post it on Facebook, one of the table, and get a thing where I can set up things. Just one of my, I'm still playing with toys in my late 60s. Oh, Miss Gabriella LaFolie, we appreciate you joining in. And Sid Randell says, bottoms up. Well, yes, sir, bottoms up. Coffee. Ain't nothing in the coffee no more. But that's all right. I like my coffee. And Appreciate y'all so much, And Prodigal Son, the album's out with a title cut I co-wrote with Travis Tritt. Travis and I met before he was the world knew him, but right before. And what a talent! So I'm a while back. Well, it's been a few years actually. He was in Nashville doing CRS, but he's kind of like a rebel like Hank Jr. He ain't exactly the fair-haired child of music rebel or nothing. But he was one of the writers in entertainment section in the Tennessean said the best show was not even a show of CRS. It was at the Wild Horse Saloon. Travis does about 3 hours like Willie does. He loves being on stage. He loves performing. And what a talent. When he walked into my office the first day to write at Loretta's, he started singing and I got them Holy Ghost chill bumps, as we say in the mountains of North Carolina. And I thought, boy, you just don't hear these voices. I wrote with another guy from Oklahoma, and we got together. His manager, Bob Dole, was a good friend of mine. And when this kid came to town, he said, I want you to write with him. And this guy became Garth, and you all know Garth. Garth's got a great voice, and what material he chose. And there's no denying his great career. And I love Garth Brooks. And what a good guy and a good person. Just saying about all the people that I wrote with, of course I've heard Garth at the Bluebird and he sang on demos for all of us. And I knew he's a great talent. But once in a while, there's somebody that when their voice opens up, it's unique and it's just undeniable. And that was Tripp. And I appreciate him including our Son of the New South song on Blue Collar Man compilation. But anyway, enough about that, me, all that stuff. But yeah, check out the Prodigal Son album. It's got a couple of songs Travis and I wrote. Michael White wrote The Baby and stuff, for Blake Shelton. He's co-writer on some of it. And check that out. It's out on iTunes, Spotify, and all those places. I'm getting pennies and pennies every day as people stream them. It's been some real good streaming, and we appreciate everybody. One Called Bear, the book, is doing really good. I'm going to have to put animals on the cover more often in the book, But it's a mountain series that I've been writing from where I'm from, and in Mount Airy, they call it. It's Andy Griffith's hometown, and it's called Mayberry, but it's Mount Airy. I had a friend down at the diner down here, and his name is Andy. So I got him a badge when I went home, a sheriff's badge. So I call him Sheriff Andy down here at the Label Market Diner. But anyway, he came up to me when we first moved out here, and he heard that I was from Mayberry or Mount Airy, and he said, "I know if I'm Mayberry. I know if I'm Mayberry." And it was because he had a map, North Carolina, and he couldn't find Mayberry. I said, there ain't no Mayberry on that map, but right there it is up on the Mount Airy. Right north of Winston-Salem, where Byron Hill's from, and George Hamilton IV. A lot of great talent from that part of the country. And but anyhow, I told him, you go on and hit 81 over here and go up through Virginia, and you get to 77, you're 25 minutes from Mayberry. 30 minutes, down the hill. Right down there in the foothills, right below. And so that was just funny. He said, I know if I'm Mayberry. So I showed him how to get there. And just so much fun. But anyhow, we appreciate y'all. Like I said, One Called Bear is part of a series. It's the 6th book of the Blue Ridge Mountain series on Amazon. And Barnes & Noble has picked up 2 of the books. I hope they will take more. So we was real happy with that this past year. That was a nice thing. But anyway, over where I'm from, we love finger picking. And of course, I always hated stepping out after 9-year-olds and could play way better than me. And I was a teenager, probably 14 to 15. But we like finger picking. Of course, we got Doc Watson, And not anybody plays like Doc Watson. But he really influenced me in admiring, I ain't gonna be hanging around here no more. Won't be hanging around here no more. Got my traveling shoes on and I gotta go. I won't be hanging around here no more. no railroad no more, and I ain't gonna work on that phone, 'cause I ain't gonna hang around here no more. Lord, won't be hanging around here no more. Got my rambling shoes on, and I feel like moving on, and I ain't gonna hang around here no more. Oh, 'cause I won't be hanging around here no more. Yeah, can't be hanging around here no more. You won't see me hanging around this place no more, 'cause I feel like I gotta travel on. Used to play in Andy Griffith's theater. They started calling it. Used to be our. I was in there. All 12 grades were there in 1959 when I was a kid, in first grade, and they had all 12 grades there. And my cousin up in high school, they picked on me. I liked little Shirley Hyatt, redheaded girl, and they all marched around me one day saying "Lover Boy." Even my best friend Ricky Easter, we've been friends since first grade. And I was just teasing him about it the other day. We talk for sure every January 1st. He said, "Yeah, my friend, call me Lover Boy." But I used to do this song. I wrote it in study hall. Stirs in for high school over at Dobson. We'd moved down a few miles from Mount Airy out of Mayberry down to the farm. I used to do this song when I played in the Andy Griffith Fine Arts Center, and people loved it. And I used to play it in backyard barbecues where you get a burger. Mr. Brown, he was Cotton Alderman's daddy-in-law, and different people we knew on Saturday where to go. You know, he'd drive. He was a little older than me. He'd drive us around. I'd drag the guitar along and sing us up a burger. My pappy was a jailbird, my mama was a saint. My sister was a waitress in a small cafe. My brother was an engineer on a great big railroad line. I was the black sheep of the family. They called me the black sheep of the family. Well, the farm we owned just wasn't big enough for all of us. So I decided it was time for me to catch a bus. I ended up some far off town feeling kind of bad. Nobody there knew my name, and I guess nobody cared. They called me the black sheep of the family. Yeah, I was the black sheep of the family. Yeah, my pappy was a jailbird, like father, like son. When I'm not in some jailhouse, I'm always on the run. I guess that I'm just proving what they all used to say. They called me the black sheep of the family. Yeah, I was the black sheep of the family. Yeah, my pappy was a jailbird, my mama was a saint. Change lives, you forget lines. I threw some of the lines out of line and out of work. Kenny Paget, hey, good morning, man. Somebody said if you want to know Mount Airy history, talk to you. So I might like to get some history from you sometime. You, Wayne Easter, I've had so much influence from him. Holly Alderman, my little niece. God bless you, honey. Good to see you. But yeah, welcome in everybody, and Happy New Year to those that haven't joined us this year yet. It's going to be a great year, and things are going to get better. We're all going to move on, and we're going to look after each other, take care of each other, and be there for each other. You know, guitar player likes to hear a guitar ring, you know. I earned this guitar. You can see the mileage. You can see Confederate Railroad, Travis Tritt, Hank Jr. And, of course, I ain't a running buddy with Hank Jr. I ain't saying that. But he's always been good to me. I went to work at Loretta's in summer of '83 doing Tape Copy Boy. She had an interview one day. I had 2 songs in the top 10, and I love Loretta. And this is just Loretta, and it was just fine. But a good friend of mine, Linda was one of those that interviewed artists, and then they put it, had magazines that published it for Linda Fuller, sweetheart. And but she knew me. Linda was a friend of mine, married to one of my co-writers. And she said, "Well, I know Larry Alderman." And Loretta said, "That's my tape copy boy," and this, which is true. They hired me in '83 to do tape copy, and then she gave me 2 jobs. So good to me. She then signed me to Coal Miners Music, so I had 2 paychecks. You know, for 11 years, you can't beat that. That's a friend right there. I had good insurance for my young babies and my wife. You know, working for Loretta Lynn Enterprises in the studio there, and doing little tapes and stuff. You know, and then got paid every week a little bit of money to make up songs when I wasn't doing the other thing. But Hank Jr. was over in Soundstage. We had a bird's eye view. We were in the old CMA building, they call it, you know, like down Catty Corner from BMI. And I had a bird's eye view from my window in studio of Soundstage. So, I mean, I ambushed John Anderson, Hank Jr., Waylon Jennings. I mean, I took tapes. I'd show up over there, and, you know, sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. But Tom Dampier ran into the office that day. Hank was doing the Major Moves album, and he said, "Man, he's sitting right over there in the hallway." And he said, and of course everybody knew this song I had, Blues the Southern Way, was something that he might do, and I didn't know everybody had given it to him. So I went over in the hallway, I ran up, we did cassettes then, and I ran a quick cassette and grabbed a lyric out of the files, you know, back in his paper files and cassettes, and I took off over to the hallway of Soundstage, and there was Hank. And he had his sunglasses off. You see that eye where he fell, you know. I'd met him a little before, but I don't know him, you know. But I walked up and said, Mr. Williams, I said, I got, you know, this song that everybody thinks you ought to hear. And I handed it to him, and he looked at me and said, "I've got this song. I'm hanging on this." Also, he looked at me, "I'm hanging on this." And he said, my PR man, my manager, the guy that runs my publishing, and you know, everybody gave it to him. And he said, "I've got this song." And so then he, you know, I had never had a hit, you know, or nothing. I was unknown. And Hank said, "Well, come in here and see what you think of what I'm doing." And he was cutting the song called Mr. Lincoln. Mr. Lincoln, I wish you were here. You know, it's on his Major Moves album. And in my song, I used Dixie, and in that one, he used Glory Hallelujah. And it was just funny, you know, how we had kind of in the same thing. But he said, "I'm going to do that song someday." Well, Hank, if you're listening and you watch CoWBoy all the time, let's do it. But he did do a single for me, you know, later and stuff, several years later. But I always say he lied to me for 10 years when he was number 1 on Entertainer of the Year. But what it was, I'm just kidding, but sort of. But what it was is he would, they'd call over and say, "Hank loves this song." I had one called "Whatever Don't Kill Me Makes Me Stronger." Wrote with Rich Fagan, the late, great Rich Fagan, my good friend. And I miss him. But he said, Hank said, had him call over and say, yeah. And the senator called over, his manager, and he said, that's going to be the album title. Well, Hank would go down to the hotel and come into town to cut. And when we're going to record, we're all fired up and we write songs. And Hank would write about 5 songs the night before. And mine would just, you just slip on down the line there and not get cut. So that's what it was. But he had told me for years, they kept saying, he's going to cut this. And but he's so good to me to treat me like this, because he said, come in to the studio and listen to what I'm doing. So that was really neat of him. I always liked Hank. Now, when I had a single on him, they said that I guess he got fallen out of grace radio. That's Hank. That's what we love about Hank. He's Hank. Said what he thought. Well, he did it again. We had a single coming out, and radio called and said, we don't want the Don Juan de Bubba song. This was his Wham Bam Sam album. They said, we want this Rainbow song. And our fans want that, and it's going to be that. And said, well, we just won't add it then. So they played it, and I made money on airplay, but you can't climb to the charts, For those of you that don't understand what it is, if they got to add your song for it to go up the charts and keep a bullet and keep momentum. So they just didn't add it, but they played it. I got paid for it. Got a lot of play. Of course, Hank's fans, they never did care about radio. So I went to Tupelo, Mississippi with him and got to watch him do my song. It was finally great to watch Hank Jr. do the song. And he'd come in and co-wrote on it. They called and said, Hank said, could he had a couple ideas on it. I said, sure. And so that was fun. We didn't sit down together in a room and co-write the song. He had ideas on it. Actually, the day when he went in to record it, that's this Chuck Howard was the producer that did that album. And Chuck came down and said, man, I love that song, and I was out by the coffee machine, but Hank had changed something in the song. I wasn't that crazy about that. And being a hillbilly, Hank come out by the coffee machine and said, what do you think of what I did? And I said, well, I like some of it. I didn't like this one thing, changing the mother, to be, he changed up the story a little. And I said, I want to that part, but I said, I like what you did, man, the rest of it. And then he went back in, and I thought, you big dummy, you probably just tipped him off and going to lose your cut, So the senator, his manager, he come walking out. But, it's called, but he come walking out, and he saw me, and I said, man, I think I just messed up. He said, what'd you do, my boy? And I said, Merle Kilgore was his manager, if y'all, that's what I'm saying. We called him the senator. He talked like that. What'd you do, my boy? And I said, well, Hank asked me what I thought. And I said, I wasn't real sure about the Spanish mother he put in the song. And he said, he started laughing. He said, Hank loved that. And he said, everybody said yes to Hank. So I heard him fire up. He started strumming through the song, charting it. And I went, okay. I didn't, But it's just fun stuff. And then he had gone out and bought lunch and dinner for consultants, they call them. One of the worst things I think ever happened, in my opinion, was consultants over 3 states on radio. But he had smoothed the consultants and took them to dinner, and they said, we're going to play Hank. And so we thought, well, all right, I got the first single, But anyway, it was a lot of fun. You win some, you lose some in the music business, And, on another day, I got on the elevator with Doyle Brown. He was a polygram. Oh my goodness, I had John Schweers, he's a co-writer of mine, but I wish I'd have written one of the big hits with him, but he was ahead of me. He's several years older than me, but he wrote many number ones all by himself, Charlie Pride songs and stuff. But anyhow, we got on the elevator and we had a cut on Mel McDaniels, me and Rich Fagan, and Doyle Brown got on there and said, your song is right up there with John Schweers, and I just thought, you just ain't going to win again. He's such a great writer and big that my heart just went, yeah, okay. If we're in between us and had written it with that, So I thought, well, there goes our single. And man, we got the single. We did. Some days you win, And of course, course, I teased John when we was writing. I said, man, I won one on you. I won one time. But John's a great guy. Love him to death. I tell you what. Chris Seward, hey, man. Down there in Mississippi, I remember writing with Chris one day. It was over Curb in the Mike Curb congregation place. But and he told me, I listen to Americana sitting in the cab on the tractor. And I was teasing him. I know he has regular tractors. But when I was a boy in 1965, 6, 4, out in the field, we didn't have air conditioning tractors on the farm we was on. Then have air conditioning in our house. But I thought, where are you sitting in air conditioning on the tractor listening to Americana, And Kevin Denny, he's another good friend of mine. What a great talent. Hope you guys all in the world know him one day. He was on Disney Records and they went out. They're gone, and all that. Once in a while, Nashville has Mary Tyler Moore, Disney people, Steven Spielberg, they run in and they do something for a little while and then they're gone. But anyhow, Kevin, we were writing one time, and of course he's younger than me, and he said, I learned your song, real good, feel good song in study hall in high school. And I said, don't make me smack you, boy. But no, it's a real pleasure, when you're writing with kids. And I was writing with one of the girls off of The Voice, just a few years ago, not long ago, I guess 2016, 15, I don't know. And she said, I'm writing with a legend. I thought, honey. But it was sweet. But no, I reckon I ain't no legend. There's so many of us and so much great talent in this town. And there's a few Bob McDills and Christophersons, and the rest of us just trying to get there, trying to attain that level, But so much fun to be in it, to be in this thing. I love this. I love the music business. I had a bass player for Johnny Rodriguez, and then he went from Johnny Rodriguez to me. Back in the 70s, we had a band together. A couple of guys. Now, they later became Confederate Railroad. And I met Danny Shirley. He used to cut my songs in Chattanooga before when they were Johnny Paycheck's band and David Allen Coe's band. So, those boys run the road playing for them too. But anyhow, it's great to be a part of it. And I love it. But he's always said, I love the music business. It's been so good to me, And it's kind of inside joke too. Sometimes it can be rough, but we love it, we love it. And it's just great to be in it and be a part of it, And sorry, I'm a jabbering on. Ain't said howdy to somebody. Christine Farmer Hallbrook over in North Carolina. I hope your mamas are doing okay. I hadn't seen anything lately. And but I love Miss Dora. That's my aunt. Was from Kaiserslautern, Germany. And Christine says she follows Travis Tritt on Instagram. Yes, ma'am. And he's out doing, I just saw where he's doing some of his solo acoustic shows. And let me tell you, between that voice and his guitar playing, and he'll probably grab up a banjo and a mandolin. You will enjoy that show. Miss Linda Wainwright from across the pond in sunny old England, UK, in the UK. Missed half your show getting my dinner sorted. Yeah, y'all are over 3 and 4 o'clock over there in the afternoon, aren't you? Hope your family's well too, darling, and appreciate you. Eider Oberstein, I said it wrong. My aunt Dora is from Eider Oberstein. I've got that wrong before, but so just loved her to death, and she was just such a great. She is a great lady. And I just loved when she talked, and she taught me a little German. I learned a little German, and she gave me a little book to study for a little bit. And she told me one day, she said, you walk like a soldier. And that made me so proud. I grew up on John Wayne. My daddy was 27 years soldier. My grandpa was at D-Day. My great-great-great-grandfather, some of them were at Gettysburg, and all the way back to the Battle of Culloden in Scotland. Way on back, soldiers. So I wanted to be two things, when I was a kid. I wanted to play into a guitar, and I wanted to figure out how do I get to pick guitar all day long. Well, that's what this whole 40-some year music business career in Nashville has been for me, is the way that I got to play guitar all day. Sit around and plunk on the guitar. Somebody believed I could write songs, and I get to plunk on guitar. So it worked. But I was also a soldier for 8 years, and I was going to stay in as a lifer. And I got the offer to work for Loretta, and I didn't re-up in the Army in 1980. But I was a staff sergeant over petroleum supply. We were fuel. We fueled helicopters and stuff, and we would set up temporary fueling stations on the front lines in action. And I enlisted in '71 during NAM, and I love the military. And they didn't send me to NAM; they sent me to the Middle East, and they're shooting at us there sometime too, and they didn't tell us. But the good Lord protected me; He was with me, and I appreciate that. And I love the military. I love being a soldier, being a sergeant. It was one of my proudest days when I made sergeant. And my daddy was my hero. He would walk in with all his ribbons, and he ended up 27 years in the Army and retired. Kind of do the song, I reckon, that started it all. Went over and pitched this song to Jerry Kennedy. And I tried to see Jerry Kennedy when I was a teenager, and I didn't get through the front door. But later he would cut 2 big hits for me. Artists Mel McDaniels and Mo Bandy. And Jerry Kennedy produced little artists like Roger Miller and Statler Brothers, Reba McEntire, Tom T. Hall. But Jerry, I did get to know him. He wrote the liner notes on the back of my first book. Did I sleep in my '66 Ford for this? And I was I'm so happy when I look at that. And Jerry Kennedy wrote, on the back of my book, wrote the notes and the comments. But anyway, I took this song over to him. I had met him through his son Shelby and Brian. And, they had kept telling him, "You got to listen to these guys writing." And I appreciate them forever. But anyway. Racing. We was both Dale Earnhardt fans, Dale Senior, but back then it was Dale Senior. It was 1988, 87, and we'd talk racing. Now never did play the song I brought him. He'd listen later. Then he called and said, "I'm putting that on hold." He said, "I'll play that for the Statler." We pitched it for the Statler Brothers. He said, "I'll play that for them." Monday that's coming in. Well, Friday, Mo Bandy walked in to Polygram Building where Jerry was at then, and he heard it playing, and he went, "I gotta have that. So they cut it. The next week, they cut the song. And it was good to us. Put a few beans in the pot. Well, I've traveled all around this country. In my time, I thought I'd seen it all. But today I took a detour down the back road through a little town, whose name I can't recall. There were old men on benches playing checkers, children playing hopscotch on the square, and high above the statue of an unknown soldier, Old Glory was waving in the air. Suddenly I realized I'd too long forgotten. A chill rose up like mountains on my skin, overcome with the feeling I was seeing America all over again. Americana, pictures of people proud and free. Americana, I keep holding to the dream. You're still what living means to me. Well, I knew to stop and throw me off my schedule. I parked around behind a 5 and dime. Something about a small town in the summer, like a Norman Rockwell picture back in time. Kids recording at the Rexall soda fountain, like they did before they built that shopping mall. I saw so many reasons why I love this country. You know, some things never really change at all. As I left the 2-lane road and pulled back on that superhighway, I thought of what I'd seen back in that town. And it hit me like a freight train that a stone's throw from the fast lane. America is still safe and sound. Americana. Pictures of people proud and free. Americana. I'll keep holding to the dream. You're still what living means to me. You're still what living means to me. Oh, so glad that Patty Ryan brought that idea to me. She'd had a publisher tell her a few years before I met her. Rich Fagan introduced us, and she had a publisher tell her, "Oh, you don't write that patriotism stuff. Well, it's hard to get cut." He's speaking as a publisher. Don't get me wrong. Bob Montgomery was not wrong in what he was saying, but he was just telling her, it's hard to get those kind of things cut, and it is, If you're out for commercial, you got to be writing for that commercial radio. You got to hone in right there. So it's a little bit, politics get involved when you're just singing about how much you love your country. So I know what he was saying, and it's not a problem. But I'm glad he did, because she didn't write it. She just kept the idea. And then we got together that day. I had my Barlow knife, and I was telling her about Mayberry and how I used to play guitar by the men who sold newspapers on the stand, and that's where the images. She said, "I want to write those images in this song." She said, "You're the one. You and Rich helped me write this idea, Americana, pictures of America, And she said, "I want to base it off your hometown," because she just loved the stories I was telling her about. Well, I was sitting right out front of what would become, Floyd's barbershop, what they call it in the show. And the old men were selling papers and playing checkers on the bench. And we had our post office here in Mount Airy, and you got the flag. And I grew up, aggravating everybody up and down Main Street in Mount Airy when I was a teenager with my guitar and playing my music. I'd go into the Snappy Lunch, and Mr. Dow, when he wasn't in a bad mood, would let me play a song, and he'd give me a hot dog, So I went up and down there. The Main Street Grill on down toward Robbie's Army Store on the north end. Well, there was this nice guy ran that grill. And me and a friend of mine, Don Sawyers, we'd go in there and sit. And as teenagers, and we'd sit on the stool and play guitar, and he'd give us a burger, and we'd get supper. And we just loved it. We thought we was hobos. We used to take off up Highway 52 as kids and imagining we were hobos traveling. We're going along. I wasn't going too far from my mama's house and dinner table, but we as hobos, we was walking up the road up there with our guitars, and we'd go to the 76 truck stop. And the little old women in there, they, "Oh, love you, darling," they'd say. "Play us another one, honey." And they would give us coffee all night long, black coffee. And we'd play Hank Williams songs and stuff. And one of them, she loved this song. We used to play it for her. She'd give me some more coffee. And we get all hopped up. "Did you hear that lonesome whippoorwill? He sounds too blue to fly. Like me, he's lost the will to live. I'm so lonesome I could run." She loved that song. We play that one. And she also loved one of the other songs that Hank still was just here. "You're cheating hard will make you weep. You'll cry and cry and try to sleep, but sleep won't come the whole night through. Your cheating heart will tell you when tears come down like falling rain. You'll toss around and call my name. You'll walk the floor the way I do. Your cheating heart will tell you. She loved those songs we played for her all night. She'd say, "Thank you, darling. Play me another one, honey." And fill our cup with a little more coffee, and we thought we was something, you know. He Dahlbenberg, hey, thanks. It's good to see you. Evie, and Norway. I got it right, I believe. Welcome in. And my good friend Ishikawa, Masahiro Ishikawa in Japan. And Linda Wainwright, Britain said her foot's a tapping. Thank you, darling. We appreciate you. And Veronica Renee Lott, welcome in and howdy. And I hope it's you got a good day where you're at. We just spinning stories. We don't tell no fibs. We just tell what we did, where we was, and had fun in this business of music, you know. And just have enjoyed it, you know, enjoyed life. I met Waylon one day at his office. He had told me to come by. He liked this song, Whatever Don't Kill Me, was going to cut it, he thought. And anyhow, I told him one day, I said, we sing your songs on a flatbed truck at Eckers parking lot in Mount Airy, Mayberry. And all that later, you know, I also got the Andy Griffith, you know, Mayberry days now in the Mayberry Mall. And he said, well, I do too, Hoss, you know. But it was fun talking to him. And it's great visiting with you guys. And I'm going to wrap it up here in a few minutes. Chris Stewart, that song's about my hometown, Indianola, Mississippi. When I thought sitting on that tractor all day, he says, along with Americana. Never thought in my life I'd be sitting across the table with you. Well, I'm just glad we got to write together, man, and know each other. You're a great guy. I love a great state of Mississippi. I got friends, Carl Jackson, another friend, a co-writer of mine. And he sang on this, on my last album, the one that I did with the Haley sisters. I did The Circle, and Carl came in. He sung on 2 albums for me now. But we wrote a song, and Alicia Nugent did it. But Carl Jackson, he's Mississippi, Oxford, Mississippi. And then there's Tim Lancaster. He's in down there in Mississippi, Corinth. And I love my friends in Mississippi. Gary Jack, my longtime brother. We brothers in uniform. And we survived Turkey, didn't we, brother? The Middle East, the Asia Minor. And we were survivors of it and military. We were in the freezing cold of Lost in the Woods, Missouri, Fort Lost and Underwood, Missouri together. Boy, was it a cold winter. I know you remember the night was all out on a night fire or bivouac, and it was freezing. Oh, man, what a cold, hard night. All night long sitting on that bunker. And that was a cold night. But we got through it. Mr. Kenyon Vincent, welcome in. Happy New Year to all of y'all. The Haley sisters over here, Brian, Slide, and Smithy. Nice picking, great song, Black Sheep of the Family. I didn't see that. Thank you. I've got, I'm on YouTube and Facebook at the same time. And the Haley sisters, Lord, all of you folks listening, go online and look up the Haley sisters, Becky and Joanne, and they got Brian Smith playing guitar. And Brian was here years ago, good friend of mine. Look them up, the Haley sisters, Haley. They are songbirds. Oh my goodness. It's like 2 Emmylou Harrises harmonizing and singing together. And knock-kneed Brian Smith over there playing the slide guitar on the slide rhythmic guitar. And Brian's an old friend of mine. We used to go see Miss Willie, great little black lady that I love her to death. She worked at MCA. She used to come to my shows. And what a wonderful girl. One night, she's an African American girl, and I'd had the rebel flag up, but she knew me. She knew that, it wasn't nothing like that, and she loved me. And one night she left early for I did a cannery, the old cannery, the show on the cannery I did. And she left early on the bus, and I thought, boy, if anybody has said anything to her or nothing, oh boy, I'm gonna get them, or just hope she's right or feeling bad. I thought, well, don't know what happened. So next morning I went right over to MCA, Miss Willie. I said, Miss Willie, where did you go? She said, I had to catch the last Metro bus home, and I was like, I wouldn't ride a bus to see me, no Metro City bus. So that was just awesome. She was riding the city bus to see my shows, and I just love her to death. I'm gonna see if I can see what ever happened to her. I know she later worked for Tennessee women's basketball, that famous coach back in the 80s, 90s. So I don't know. I'm trying to reconnect with her. She's just a wonderful lady. And she used to come to Douglas Corner. We lost Douglas Corner as a casualty of all the overreaction and closing everything down. But sure loved that place. And she used to come in there and she'd see me play there. Cannery, Bluebird. I didn't play the Bluebird as much all the time, as I did Douglas Corner. Matter of fact, what they call three-wheel drive or something. Jeff Pearson, Randy Van Warmer. Randy had a great record that I loved long before we met each other in the late 70s. You left me just when I needed you most. Great pop hit. And what a good person. And just the greatest guy in the world. And I got to know him when I wrote the Keith Stegall's place. We had a contract. I got to know him. He's the greatest guy. Andy Van Warmer and Jeff Pearson, Steve Dean, they had me come as the special featured hit songwriter or whatever, at night. And don't get your head big, it passes real fast. But anyhow, I got in there and I'd been Douglas Corner. And I might have had imbibed a little bit. And I was loud. And Miss Amy, she just started, you gotta get it, you gotta go. Get out of here, And so, and I was being rowdy. God bless her. She was in the right. I was being rambunctious. And you could be rambunctious at Douglas Corner, but you're supposed to be, a little bit more reverent than the Bluebird. I was misbehaving. But anyhow, Randy Van Warmer, or one of them, or Jeff got on the microphone and said, Amy, you can't throw him out. He's the featured writer of the night. So I got calm now. I went up and I played the songs, And, forgive me, Miss Amy. And she did. The Hillbillies. I am descended from the Hillbillies that Ralph Peer discovered. They were on OK Records. He took them to New York and recorded them. They was from Hillsville, Virginia, and Surrey County. A couple of them from Surrey County. They called them the Buckle Busters, and then they became called the Hillbillies. So that was 1920s. So if I act like a hillbilly sometimes, let's go down a hillbilly. But Ralph Peer took them to New York in 1924, recorded them, and they were really popular, in the 20s. They became really well known, and people would say, let's go hear some hillbilly music. So they have them in the Country Hall of Fame. They're archived, and there was years ago, they had a little thing you could view a silent film of them where they were singing and playing, but you couldn't hear it. They'd lost the tracks as far as the music. And they're known as the band that named the music because people started calling it hillbilly music because they were talking about the band then in the 20s. Let's go hear some hillbilly music, that group. And then it just became a term. It actually named the music genre, hillbilly music. Hank Williams called himself hillbilly music. And hillbilly folk, he called it hillbilly music, But anyhow, and my pedigree, that pedigree there. But hope you guys are all going to have a great day. Life is good. We got the good Lord's given us another day on the great planet that he created. And I'm going to have to stop having fun now and get to work. I'm working on the 7th book in the Blue Mountain series that'll be coming out on Amazon shortly when I get it done. And hope you guys, if you've read some of them, give me some feedback. It's been great getting so many. I've never seen so many reads and sales on Amazon, so it's going good. I'm small fry. I'm a small publisher, but doing good for being a small fry, And I have people that tell me how much they love the books and enjoy it. They're spawned off of stories my great grandparents told me on the porch when I was a boy down in North Carolina and Virginia. And over in Virginia at my great grandma's house, going up to Cana, Virginia, right there on the mountain, going to Woodlawn. And so they told me a lot of stories. I worked them and started this book series on those stories. A lot of true stories, and I worked them into this theme, and it's about the families and people of the mountains where I'm from. Anyhow, y'all, I hope you're going to have a great day. We'll be back next Thursday. Good Lord willing. I hope you all have a great day. We're going to wrap her up here now and say goodbye. It's CoWBoy coffee time, y'all. Come on back. Not getting empty now. We're going to have to put some more coffee in the pot. CoWBoy coffee time. CoWBoy coffee time. Hey, y'all have a great day. Have a good time. Have a great day. God bless you. May you be good to your friends and neighbors, and they'll be good to you. Bye, gollies.